Good morning. Coldwell Banker Realty Central Region, comprising 8,000 plus of the finest agents and staff in the country. My name is Brian Bolier. I'm the Regional Vice President in Minnesota, Wisconsin for Coldwell Banker, and have been in this industry for over 24 years now. And I want to welcome you to our second view from the top of 2023. Thanks for coming. Thanks for investing your time today to improve and learn from others within the industry. I have four of the best sitting in front of me. You guys have asked for this repeatedly, to have different perspectives and ideas brought to you from different parts of the country, basically to use our scale. Thus, we created this format for you, and hopefully we're delivering upon that. If you're interested in any of the past episodes we've done, you can go to our Coldwell Banker Central Region YouTube channel. There's some fantastic, timeless pieces in there from the last year. So today I have the immense pleasure of facilitating the discussion of navigating the current market with four of the finest from Texas, St. Louis, Illinois, and our very own Minnesota, Wisconsin company. Yep, a little bit of a cheers going on here. Before I introduce our guest panelists for today's session, I'd like to invite you to cheer on your friends and, most importantly, become part of our discussion. Use the chat. We will be monitoring that throughout, so I'll try to bring your questions up, and our four great panelists will also answer those live as we go. So let's have some fun today. From Minnesota, I'd like to introduce you to Tina Angell. Tina is not only a great friend of mine, peer, but Tina's focused, consistently setting the bar higher, seeking ways to enhance her practice, and extremely client-centric. She partners with her wonderful husband, John Angell. And from Illinois, Kari will share with you her perspective on navigating the current market. I was extremely impressed with Kari's background and how she's used both business and teaching to grow her practice. She's all about team and leveraging great people. I'm sure she'll talk about that today. And from St. Louis, Troy Robertson. Troy's down-to-earth personality is so easy to connect with. You'll love to hear about how he is working in the market today and investing in the future. Troy relies on the basics, but as you will see, is constantly looking for ways to fill those gaps. And last but not least, Keith Milkiewicz. Keith is from Austin, Texas, and had a wonderful conversation with Keith. His focus and growth in the business is inspiring, to say the least. Like Troy, Kari, and Tina is investing in his company's future big time. Keith's abundance mindset is one thing that you will see from him today, I am sure. So let's get started. I've already created a handful of questions, but again, cheer people on in the chat, ask any questions you want from that. I'm going to start it out with asking each one of our panelists to just take 1 minute maybe and give a little background of themselves. I'll start with Keith, since you're up in my top left quadrant. You can kick it off.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Keith Milkiewicz with Coldwell Banker in Austin, Texas. This is my third full year in real estate. At the end of the last year, I completed my third full year. I love real estate. About 5 years ago, I had a near-death experience. My background has been in lab business and in healthcare, and I decided to take it upon myself to really hone in on my dream and develop a company on my own. And I decided to go into real estate, and it was the best decision I ever made. I'm just really excited about what I've achieved. I think it's all about creating a plan and implementing a plan. And I love living in this country and having that dream available to us. And I think that runway for me has been in real estate, and I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here too. Kari, why don't you give us a little background on yourself?
Okay, my name is Kari Kohler. I am here in the St. Charles office. I love being here. It's a wonderful place to work. We also have an office in the Tech Center in Denver with Coldwell Banker. And then also we have just recently expanded to Las Vegas market also. So we're working on expansion teams, building teams, leveraging. I love this business, and I'm really thrilled and honored to be here.
All right, Troy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for having me. The first 10 people they asked here in St. Louis said no, so you're stuck with me on the panel. But no, this is year 22 in the business for me. I'm very grateful, very blessed to be part of a great team here. I've got a great partner, Darby Seymour, 4 other hardworking agents, and a great admin. So we have a team of 6, and we expand to 8 if you count mother-in-law and my wife, who work from time to time with us. We're in Town and Country, which is about 15 miles west of downtown St. Louis, in the #1 office in the state for Coldwell Banker in the metro area. So just a really good setup for us here. Great people, great office, really good culture. And that's something we work hard at, is just our teamwork, our culture around us, and how we handle ourselves. Beyond that, married for 15 years now, and 3 great kids, 10, 8, and 6.
Wonderful. And yes, we do count your wife and your mother-in-law. And during our conversation, you did give them a lot of kudos. So I want them to know that. Tina.
Good morning, Tina Angell from the Cross Lake office. And just a little bit about my background. I actually have an IT background. I was managing computer programmers prior to getting into real estate. And I've been in the business since 2002, licensed. And I miss leadership. So I loved real estate, but I miss leadership. So I actually got into leadership fairly early in my career. I managed a couple of different offices, our Crocus Hill office, our Highland Park office, and managed our training department as well. So it gave me kind of a nice background of that. And I have bonus with my husband, who also is a licensed realtor. He's been in the business 27 years. So we're really just a team of 2. He also had managed our Woodbury office. So we both have that background. And then we took a leap of faith. We opened the Cross Lake office in 2020 while we were still managing. We'd gone to Brian and Matt here locally and presented a business plan to open that office, because all the other brokers in the market area, Keller Williams, Edina, Remax, et cetera, they had a broker presence and we didn't. So we saw an opportunity. Brian and Matt went to bat for us and said, yep, do it. So that was late 2020 when we opened this office. And I'm actually from Cross Lake. So it was a win-win from that perspective. And then in 2021, John and I took a leap of faith and a huge risk and stepped back from leadership, which we loved, but I'm all about like changing and shifting and trying something new. And we went back into full-time sales. And 2022 was our first full year in real estate, back in real estate selling, our first back in real estate, you know what I mean? Anyway, and it was a great year. We were kind of in a new market, even though I had grown up here. We were in a new market area, and we were able to achieve our goal and go over that. So just with our first year being back in sales, we had 45 transactions and 18 million in production, which we were very thankful and blessed for that. So and we're angels, so I get that benefit of working with my husband.
Yeah.
And I'm very humbled to be here with these other rock stars, and I'm just really looking forward to learning from them as well. So thanks for having us.
Likewise.
Well, thank you for being here. And rock stars is a great way to describe the 4 of these. You know, we only have 35 minutes, so I'm going to jump right into the questions that we have set up for everyone, but such different backgrounds. You probably heard team over and over. I heard that from each one of the 4 and how they leverage and utilize their teams. Could be 2 people up to 8 people as well, but also the common theme that I heard through all of them in my prior interviews was their love of the business. And so I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. They all specifically said, I love this business. So first question I'm going to ask, and again, it's really around the market, and the point of today is navigating through a market that's shifting and changing. What do you feel are the greatest challenges? And then we'll also say, what do you find as the greatest opportunities of this market? Keith, why don't you kick us off there? Greatest challenges and opportunities for the market.
Well, I think the greatest challenge is we're obviously in a big market shift, and you know, I'm still relatively new to this business, so coming in as a relatively newer rep, being able to go from everything at 1,000 miles to an hour to a down market it was a big change and challenge for me personally. So I think the big challenge for me was, how do I get a grasp on knowing exactly what the pulse of the market is all the time? And I think, knowledge is power, but action is what gives you the credibility and the ability to break through. And you have to know everything that's going on in the market all the time, but then you have to take the appropriate action with your clients at teaching them, educating them, having visibility, being in their face all the time. So I think abundantly, but I'm a massive implementer. And in the Austin market, things change on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. I mean, we had just a few points of the mortgage rates drop this last week, and my phone started ringing off the wall because people wanted to re-engage themselves. So you have to encourage people and give them the knowledge and tell them which steps to take and when to take them and not to panic. And I think going back to the basics was the key for me. Knowing your sphere, knowing who to target. The fish don't jump in the boat, so to speak. So I changed the way I did things back in October last year by making a challenge to myself, saying I'm going to be more visible. So I started creating videos. I started to put more content out there. I started to do monthly market updates and sending that out and teaching and training everybody, national market updates. And I communicate with that sphere on a regular basis. I do a lot of video text messaging. And I think the biggest challenge is to be face of market, to be visible, to be creative, and to have credibility, to direct people to the right direction on a consistent basis. And when you think things are dying and they're slowing down, you just continue to forge forward and never stop.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I've heard that back to the basics a couple of times. I'll actually jump to Troy on that same thing, opportunities and challenges in our market. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's dead on everything he said. I mean, of course, the market did adjust and slow drastically in the fourth quarter. So we just kind of dug back in, got back to the basics. We actually strategically decided to kind of double our marketing budget this year, just to the point exactly, more visibility. We ran a big client appreciation event around Thanksgiving. We did a bunch of stuff around the holidays to just stay front of mind. It's one of those things where, typically speaking, the transactions happen with whoever the individual talked to last or next. So if you weren't the last person to talk to them, you better be the next person to talk to them. And so that's what we tried to do. We had never really mandated call time from our team, but we said, in January was, look, we're going to sit down, we're going to calendar block, have a couple hours here where we're just going to make this many calls every week. And we kind of gradually raised that number just so everybody on the team was comfortable with it. We typically don't do that kind of structure, but we just said we have to stay in front of people. We have to stay in touch. We have to keep planting seeds and then harvest them when the winter started to fade and the spring weather gets a little better. And we're seeing that now. I think the biggest opportunity is market share in times when it's hard. And if you've been in this business a long time, you know what 08, 09, 2010 was like. But if you got in at 2011 or later, you've really had a really pretty good market. In the last 3 or 4 years, you've had a great market. It's been challenging, but especially on the list side, it's been great. So being able to give clients a little idea of what harder times look like, and investing in your business so that you can pick up market share if things do really slow down dramatically. And we haven't seen dramatic, but it's slowed down. But positioning yourself to grab it in tough times and grab that business and really gain strength is important. And we've tried to invest in that.
Wonderful. Tina, how about you? What do you feel are the greatest challenges and opportunities in this market?
I feel just the biggest challenge is the communication of the media. They like to kind of pick up on, oh my gosh, rates are going up, and just kind of talking more negatively about the market. And we're always so positive about the market. Obviously we love the business, but we always believe that there's going to be opportunities in real estate, whether rates are at 3% or 7%. So and it's about, now I think, Keith, it was you that said knowledge is power. And so it's just knowing some statistics that you're able to talk to clients about. And, if you look at like a buyer right now going into, should we buy? Well, you're right. Your rates might be a little bit higher. However, you may not be in, many multiples. So you might be able to get the house a little bit less. You might be paying a little bit more in interest rate, but, it all balances out. And if you buy now, you may not be in as much competition once buyers, they're sitting back watching interest rates. It's kind of a big thing. So I just think it's, there's opportunity. And if you look at it from a buyer perspective, sellers, we had a first-time home buyer that actually got seller paid closing costs. We haven't seen that for a while. Sellers are willing to pay for, some things like that. We're seeing inspections come back. So it's a more balanced market. And let's say your seller is also looking at, gosh, should I sell now? But now I don't know if I should buy because the interest rates are higher. It's kind of the same thing. You might be selling a little bit lower because the market's shifting, but then you might be buying a little bit lower too. So for us, we just look at it as you just got to keep, aware of what's going on with the market and just be super positive and talking to your clients through it.
Great points, Tina. Kari, same question. What do you feel are the greatest challenges and opportunities in this market?
Well, I would start by saying ditto to what everybody else just said, and I will comment on that in a minute. I want to say congratulations to everyone that is listening today, because that means you're coachable. That means you're trying to make yourself better. So congratulations for taking the time to listen. When I first received my real estate license, I got a coach right away. And that coach taught me a simple thing, that the goal every day is just to get a little bit better. And it's such a simple goal because all I have to do is get a little bit better every day. So I just want to say congratulations to the people that are listening. I also want to say again, ditto to what everyone just said. Taking massive action in this new market is super important. Another thing, absolutely what was discussed regarding the media, that is going to be a challenge for us. And it's going to be a challenge for us in any market. They're going to make any market look like the worst market we've ever been in. We are not in a horrible market. As far as I see from studying the market, supply is still actually very low. Certainly here in St. Charles, in Denver, in Vegas, it actually has picked up a little bit. There's more supply. However, there's opportunity in that. And those of us that are in winter states, there's about to be quite a bit of inventory because people are going to start listing now. So that floodgate is going to open and give us opportunity. What I would do in this market, as well as any other market, is align yourself with professionals that you trust, that are better than you, that do 50 more deals than you do a year. Don't take a huge leap and look at somebody that does 800 deals. Look at somebody that does better than you, but still in that same realm of where you are, and study them. What do they do right? What do they do wrong? And then also I would be very open to positive as well as negative feedback. That's what I'm trying to do in 2023 is, people are very kind to me and I appreciate that very much. I'm also very open to negative feedback or feedback that's going to move me forward. So I'm really diving in deep there and looking at what I can do to improve, to work within any market. I think this is a great market for people that are listening. I think opportunity is just about to open up for us, as I said, especially those of us in a winter state.
I just add to Kari because that's something she said really hit home with me, Brian, and filling the voids and the gaps of our weaknesses is so important, and surrounding yourself with the people who are better than you is vital to my success throughout my entire career. I've never been the best at anything. I work harder than most people do, but I surround myself around the people who are great. And just a great story about what happened October 25th, 2022, just last year, was my 50th birthday. I was trying to create and edit a video on social media, and my son came in the door and laughed at me. And I said, okay, something has to change within myself. I am so behind the 8 ball when it comes to advertising on social media. I need to find somebody who's an expert. I need to find somebody who's going to teach me the right way to do this. And not only did I find somebody to do that, but it's not about just creating a video and editing the video. It's about how do you drive that to the end user? Who are you going to target? How often are you going to target them? How are you going to get that programmed, and what platforms are you going to do it on? And those are the things that are vital and important, because you have to be a massive action taker, just as you said, and get your content in front of the people and be visible all the time in a down market. And again, the fish don't jump in the boat. So when you're in a down market and you have everybody sitting on the sidelines, when you're first of mind, it's like going into Nordstrom's and you're going to go shopping for a pair of shoes. I mean, the first thing when you walk in the door is a salesman's going to ask you, can I help you? You're going to say no, until it's first in mind saying, yes, I need a pair of shoes. Well, it's the same thing with a house. There's so many realtors out there. If you're not first in mind and you're not visible to them, then you're not going to be first in mind, and they're going to pick that friend down the street that they know, or their neighbor's friend. So you got to be first in mind, and that content creation and being visible was extremely important to me, and leveraging people who are better than me to fill in those gaps really helped me exponentially get my business on the road.
That's wonderful. And one thing I got from all four of you in our prior conversations was how much of sponges you are in learning and wanting to grow constantly and making that a priority. And not only just priority when you look at your year, but honestly, in every single day and the way you structure your day. I mean, Kari's got a master's in teaching, but if you listen to her business, she should be probably a real estate coach, and as to many people around her on her team. And obviously those of you out there. Troy, I'll start with you here on this question. What are you doing to structure your day differently in 2023 than maybe you did in 2022? 3 of the 4 of you said you were doubling or tripling your investment in there, but I also heard it in activities and actions. So Troy, what are you doing is your structure changed at all?
It's changed slightly, and I think the focus has become more of a focus, even in that, last year we went back and looked at every deal we had and where did those deals come from? Was it a referral? Was it a past client? Was it SOI? Was it advertising? Where was it? And then we refocused on those. But then on top of that, what we didn't talk about was creating new pipelines. And so one of the things we've done this year, we started it last year, but we're really trying to get it up and running this year. We think with the rates and with the market structure, there's less deals to be had in the move up family. If you really like your house, you love your rate, maybe it's not your dream home, but you're likely going to stay there. We think if you're in that 40-year-old category ish, and you've got a couple young kids, like a lot of our clients are. So then how do you fill that gap? Well, we've identified doing that through a lot of estate attorneys, through, unfortunately, divorce attorneys, financial planners that are kind of in the forefront of when life happens, and maybe they talk to their financial planner about a trust issue and they need to do something on the home side. So we've just really tried to position ourselves and create new pipelines. I think everybody in our business constantly focuses on SOI, referrals, staying in contact. But if a market segment dries up, or the surroundings around a certain category change, then you need to add a new category. So that's what we're trying to do, to create new referral sources from attorneys, financial planners, really professional people that do a great job for their clients, that can recommend us, because we're a comprehensive team and we think we fit really well with lawyers and attorneys and people in those practices.
How about you, Tina? Are you doing anything differently this year? And again, this could be on the personal side too. Maybe just even the way you structure the way you start your day, et cetera. But anything you're doing differently this year than last year to deal with the market we're in?
Yeah, so we believe real estate, it's about being consistent regardless of, if it's slower times or busy times. And we're office people. We've always been office people, whether we're coming into our office here or we're set up and we're working at home. So we like that structure of it. We still attend weekly sales meetings, even though we're kind of off site, more as a satellite office. We think that's very important. So that's a good structure. Training classes. One of the things we're doing differently going into 2023, and this is about structure, is we've joined the 3 different chambers in kind of the larger communities around Cross Lake, Pequot Lakes, and Brainerd. And they have monthly meetings. So John and I have committed that we're going to go to those monthly meetings. They also have a monthly social event. And so just to get the brand awareness, and I want to go back to something, and it might have been Troy that said, you know, when it's a slower market, you have to look at, clients are going to look more at larger brokers and the brands. So we're really trying to focus on how do we get the brand and our name out there. And so just having more structure of attending and being involved. We just did St. Patrick's Day parade in Cross Lake this past weekend. So we're just very committed to more of that. We do smoothies in the morning, which you know, John, to get him to have some fruit and veggies,
Vegetables.
but you know, right. And wine at night. No, I'm kidding. So maybe not, but no, we're very structured in what we do. Monday mornings, we're a team of two. It's just John and I. We come into the office. We actually have a whiteboard that we religiously sit and go through our escrow or pending file, our buyer kind of checklist, and then where our listings are at as far as, you know, what happened over with listings like over the weekend. So we have that like every Monday morning, and then we talk about our schedule for the week and who's going to follow up with who. So it's, you know, we've always kind of done that structure, but now we're adding in more of the community outreach and community events to continue to get our name out there and be involved and establish relationships.
Yep, I saw a lot of those online. You get great exposure from doing that. How about you, Kari? Anything
Well,
different
I
in your
have
structure?
built, I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was just gonna, anything different in your structure in 2023?
My structure in 2023 is going to be just what it has been since I received my license in 2006. I am extremely structured. So our team, we are office people also. I just think I'm a very disciplined person, but when I work at home, I hear the laundry and I hear the dog. So I like to be here in the office, and my team is very structured too. We all show up at 7:30. We look at the hot sheets. We talk about what happened with last night's showings, everything that we could talk about to get the game on. We make each other feel good. Then at 8 o'clock in the morning, we are on the phones. We are calling expireds, canceled, for sale by owners. We're calling, someone mentioned working with attorneys. So we're calling businesses. We're looking for business. We're prospecting for business between 8 and 10. At 10 o'clock, we take a break, have a team huddle, and then often everybody gets back on the phone and does their follow-up from 11 to 12. We do that every single day. And the only way that I would change in 2023 is I would increase that amount of prospecting time. It is the least expensive way for people to grow their business. All you have to do is have a cell phone or a desk phone. You have to have your voice. If you have a nice, polite conversation with someone, ask them for business, ask them how you can help. Maybe it's not selling a home for them. Maybe they want to appeal their real estate tax bill and you can provide them with some comps. Maybe they're looking for a trusted painter. Find out, ask questions during that prospecting time, how you can help the client or the potential client on the phone and solve the problem for them, and then stay top of mind as someone else suggested on this panel. And that is the way that I am like structured all day long. Then we have lunch, then everybody goes and does their showings, listing appointments, that kind of thing. But the morning is always for studying the market, getting your game on, and then prospecting.
Wonderful. How about you, Keith?
I think the most successful people in this world are very predictable in nature. And I am very predictable too in my daily routine. And when I say that, you know, my daily routine is, and I recommend anybody who's new to this business, is to think about the things that they're doing on a daily basis that's moving your business forward in a positive manner. But I wake up every morning, my alarm goes off around 6:30. I get out of bed around 6:45. I hit the gym for an hour. I come back and I start my gratitude calls, and I take, you know, about 15 to 30 minutes, and I send text message or text videos to people with gratitude. And then I start my next 2 to 3 hours of cold calling people in my sphere and my leads. And it's 80 to 85% of my day is going to be lead gen. And I start my office on the phone, on video calls, on conference calls, doing market updates and building my sphere, building my leads, and following up on my showings and all the different things in my pipeline. And then I spend about an hour getting with my team on what admin work needs to be done during the day and how to move my transactions forward. And then I'm out in the field every afternoon with clients. Is when I dedicate my time. Is out in the field is with them in the afternoon, and then it's rinse repeat the next day. But again, I think it's important to build traction and activity around the things that are going to move your business forward on a daily basis. So creating a mindset that is to continue to build and grow your business. So for me, I want to be in my business 80 to 85% of my day lead generating and being the tip of the spear. And then I have people on my team that I've hired to remove all those non-revenue producing activities off of my plate, so that I can be more actively in the face of my organization and my team. So that's how I've structured my company, and that's how I work.
Amazing, mind blowing prospecting, and you all have that as part of your process in a given day and week. Troy, you and I had a conversation about that, and you said that was kind of a little bit of a shift, is really requiring the team to, everyone's on board to make those calls. What are you asking? What are you talking about when you make that call, ring, and they're having a conversation with a past client or someone in their sphere?
Yeah, this would be the most boring standard answer of all time, but it's what it is. I mean, it's just the forward talk where you're checking in on their family, how's work going? You know, right now is a great time with spring break here in St. Louis. We're on spring break week. You know, you going anywhere? You know, what are the plans for the rest of the year? It's really standard stuff, but I think what Keith just said along those lines is so important about gratitude, and whether that's a handwritten note or a phone call or a text. But, you know, we strongly believe you attract what you are. So if you give off gratitude and you give off thankfulness and thoughtfulness to your clients and the people that you talk to, then those kind of people want to do deals with you. And when you get clients like that, your transactions are so much smoother. I'm sitting in our US Title office here, which is right next door to my office. And it means a lot to me when the title company folks here always say, Troy, your people are so easy. They're always so nice and polite, and the deal runs smooth and easy. And that's all about that mindset of, look, we can cover the basics of how's your family and how's your occupation, but I really want to put forth this attitude of, I am super grateful for your business. I'm super grateful for your friendship. And as Kari said, if it's something I can help transaction wise, awesome, we'll jump on it. But if it's just an advisory role and asking me what you think about something, or people call and say, hey, what would you do with spending money on improvements? Or is this a good ROI on using money here versus there? You know, I mean, I love those phone calls. Those are not revenue generators, but they are relationship builders. And in the long run, those kind of conversations are really valuable. So those are kind of the sentiment behind our calls, where we're just trying to really be their trusted advisor instead of just making sales calls.
That's wonderful. Tina, well, I'll go around the horn on this one because it was actually the one question that came up. I went to my peers across the country and asked for some sample questions that they thought would be relevant to the topic of navigating our current market, and interest rates came up. So real quickly, I want to go around the horn. I'll start with you, Tina, on, how are you overcoming those, people talking about interest rates, and I'm going to wait until the interest rates go down, or I can't buy now, or I can't sell, quite frankly, right now because my interest rate is so good?
Well, I think, whether you're buying right now, you can get a better price on a home just because, just the shifting market, even if the rates are higher. And gosh, 7% rates, we've just been spoiled with the low rates, and 7% is not bad. But you also have to look at, we'll talk to the buyers about, there's other things you can look at. There are some lenders that will do kind of the rate buy downs. So you can buy down, look into having your buyer buy down a rate for the first and second year. You can also even negotiate that with the seller. We've seen some sellers, and we're going to talk to our sellers about this, of even offering to buy down a buyer's rate. So there's different opportunities there, or you can talk to them about, you may go in with a little bit higher rate now, but you can always refinance at some point as well. with sellers because, as the market shifts, you change how you do some of your negotiation strategies. We believe that every negotiation, it depends upon what the seller, buyer, what their best interest is and what they're looking for. But, you can also, like, we're starting to see more open houses. We're starting to see, things like broker opens. We're starting to see negotiation strategies around appraisals, coverage. If you're going in, your price is a little bit lower, you won't have to worry as much about appraisal gap coverage, that type of thing. And then sellers are starting to consider paying buyers' closing costs as well. So for a buyer, they're going to go in and maybe have a little bit higher rate. Maybe you're also then able to have the seller pay some of the seller paid closing costs for the buyer, so they don't have to bring as much to closing. And we weren't seeing that, in a previous market.
How about you, Kari?
So when those were really good points. When someone has an objection for me, for example, the interest rates, what I try to do is repeat and approve and then ask a question. So you're concerned about interest rates. I can certainly understand why. What concerns you most about the interest rate? Listen to what they have to say, because so many times I've learned, as the years go by, that I might be addressing something that doesn't even need to be addressed. I need to drill down on exactly what is their particular concern. Well, I'm going to live in this home for the next 20 years and I don't want to pay an interest rate that high. Okay, well, now I know what I can address. Well, as you know, John, interest rates and the market is very cyclical, and there's going to be a time, probably in the near future, where you can refinance. And does that, and you just ask questions. You try to find out what is really the concern. And I do that with objections, and I do that with negotiating. I do that with listing property. Find out what's most important to your client. What's their concern? What's most important to them? And then address the objection.
Wonderful. We had a couple of questions in the chat as it relates to coaching. And since I'm on you, Kari, there was a question: who was your coach? Did you get coaching within Coldwell Banker when you first got in, or you obviously hired out as well?
I did. To answer your question, I'm in the Mike Ferry organization of coaching, which is a lot of us listen to Tom Ferry. Mike Ferry is his father. I also love Tom Ferry. I listen to Tom Ferry every day because they align very, very closely. So I paid for coaching. I was absolutely, broke when I got my real estate license in 2006, like to the point of no return. And yet I still signed up for coaching. It was $1,000 a month, of which my family did not have. And I just asked that. I told the gentleman my, short little sob story, and then teach me how to make money as fast as I can. And then I realized, it's not making money, it's serving clients, finding out what they needed, and then delivering that. And then that just made my life so full, because I get to do that all day long and help people achieve their goals.
Greatest thing we can invest in is ourselves, right?
Yes.
Troy, what is your best source for leads? And second, maybe even.
Well, we're pretty, St. Louis is kind of a big, small city in that word of mouth and your reputation, the way you've handled things and the way you've executed transactions. So I think 80% of our leads are referrals or past clients that give us the name of somebody else, just, straight clients from the SOI. So we're not real cutting edge. I mean, we just try to circle the wagons and be really hyper local in the markets that we work in, and do a great job keeping our name up there. I mean, we kind of joke in our team that you better be the second grade basketball coach, the homeroom mom, the something in the community where people know who you are and what you're doing, and grow your SOI. If you don't have any transactional work, a good day for you is adding some names to your SOI or talking to, a certain number of people on your SOI. There's no property to show. If there's no listing appointments, then you better add people to your name. Otherwise, what do we really accomplish today? So ours is very kind of insular, old school. We try to be big in the community, and most of our stuff comes from just client touches and, hey, you did a good job over here. I'll give your name to somebody on the other side.
Wonderful. How about you, Keith?
Yeah, I mean, I second almost exactly what he says. I really worked hard before I even came into real estate on building my sphere. And that database is the most important thing for drip campaigns and everything else. I would say, you know, I've only been in this for a few years, but last year, 45% of my business was repeat business. I have some clients that have done 4 or 5 transactions with me already. And I think it's important for new agents who come on is not to be everything to everybody. You got to pick a few niches, stick to those niches, become expert at those niches, learn them, implement them, master them, repeat, right? That's how we work. And when it comes to lead generation, I use my sphere. I do a lot of mailers, and I do a lot of social media. I build landing pages. I ask for call to actions, and anything that comes in goes on drip campaigns. And I try to target and hit my sphere and everybody that's in my campaigns at least 31 times a year. So I touch them many times throughout the year, and everybody I try to call at least once a quarter. So they're getting personal contact, personal connection with me on a very regular, very frequent basis. And the content generation of what we communicate is the key. It's not just, hi, I just listed this, or hi, I just sold this. Content is extremely important. And that credibility and that knowledge that you have in there is what opens the doors for you that makes you different than everybody else. So I make sure that what I send and what I communicate is advantageous to them. It's educational to them.
Wonderful. We are coming to our last few minutes, if you can actually believe that. So I'm going to allow you each just to give one last statement on the market and your best advice you could give to any one of the multiple thousand people that are on this call today. And Kari, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, well, as I said earlier, I think this market is something that we can all benefit from. There's a great deal of good things going on in this market. What I like to say is these experts are amazing. I have learned so much today, and I'm so excited about it. Building on what some people said, this is a contact sport. You just have to remember that. If you do not want to get on the phone and make calls like I do, then get out in the community. And then when you're getting out in the community, make sure you're not a secret agent. Make sure you tell people that you're talking to that if you need any real estate advice, I'd love to help you at some point, and then just switch the topic. Just make sure they know you are a real estate agent and you can be their trusted advisor. It's a contact sport, and make your contacts and life will be good.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Tina.
So when I was managing agents and the training department, and for those agents that I've worked with, that they'll hear this, anything works and nothing doesn't. So do something, don't sit back, because the business isn't going to just happen, especially in a market that changes and shifts. And the other piece of advice is just live your life, let real estate happen, kind of in reference to what Kari is saying. Kari is saying it's a contact sport, but get involved in the community, get involved in what you're passionate about, and the business will come. We wear a lot of wearables now, which Brian knows, he has some, but we wear wearables. We're also doing a lot of reach outs right now with past clients, kind of what you guys have all said. And for those of you locally with our MLS, we have something called auto email with our buyer pool. We are actually going back and checking in with each one of them individually and making sure that they can still, if they want to adjust their search at all, and making sure that they're still approved for what they were pre-approved for, just with interest rates and stuff changing. So, and we have increased our marketing this year with being involved in the chamber, hosting some events. We're looking at another billboard, and we're also doing reminder media magazines. But just live your life, let real estate happen, and anything works, nothing doesn't. So just get out there and do it, and just hope you guys love it as much as we do.
That's right on. Troy.
Yeah, I'll echo a lot of what they said. I mean, I think you could tell from everybody up here that having a disciplined structure that you work developing that works the best for you. And the word I've really been focused on this year is standard, creating the standard for myself and for our team. And if our standard is one of excellence, where we're going to do these things throughout the day, we're going to execute, we're going to talk to people, we're going to give great advice, we're going to help, we're going to have kind of servant hearts to be there for our clients or our friends or whoever it is, no matter what the circumstances, the market's not going to dictate how my day went. Interest rates are not going to dictate how my clients feel. They may have an impact on the market, they may have an impact on volume, but my standard is the bar that I'm chasing throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year. And the more that I set my standard and live up to that, I'm more content with myself. I'm happy, with my effort, what I did or didn't do. And that's the only measuring stick, is me against me. So you have to be in touch with the market. You have to know about interest rates. You have to know what's going on with the Fed. I guess they have a meeting tomorrow. We'll see how the impact is. We'll talk about all that stuff. But at the end of the day did my team, our team, did I myself meet the standard that I want for myself? That creates, my level of success. And I hope that filters through everybody.
I love it. Great advice. Keith.
Yeah, I think there's 4 things. And I think the most important one up front, especially for new agents coming in, is find a mentor right away. Find somebody who is way better than you are and start meeting with them on a regular basis. Start practicing, role playing, get out there and fail many times over. Pick yourself back up off the pavement and get back there. Go back to your mentor, practice again. Here are the objections that I had. If you're doing an open house, get out of your comfort zone and start door knocking. If you don't like door knocking, do it anyway. Find out the things that aren't working, figure out why they're not working, figure out how the best people are doing it, repeat and repeat again. 2, focus on 2 or 3 niches. Don't try to be everything to everybody. You got to fine tune your focus, become the expert at 2 or 3 things and be the best. I mean, the very best at it. And then 3, always be visible. You got to be visible to everybody in your sphere and to your clients and make it educational. And lastly, you have to take massive action, be an implementer. And that comes with planning, getting some great objectives, creating goals, and then pivoting on those goals when they're not working. Be realistic about those goals and define them, and every day create the traction that you need to hit those goals, and you're going to be successful in this business.
Oh, just amazing. We play that part over and over, everyone. I got some massive takeaways, but take action, get your head down, play offense, focus on the things you can control. Don't worry about all the other stuff. And I really love the message on mindset, because I think it's really important, taking care of yourself and abundance, gratitude, etc. I want to encourage everyone to go on to our Coldwell Banker Realty Central Region YouTube channel, like that, follow that. The recordings are out there. This one's there to watch. And I wanted to promote on April 18th. That again is the 3rd Tuesday. We always do these on the 3rd Tuesday, April 18th. Creating an exceptional client experience will be our next one. So I want to thank these beautiful people for sharing today, taking their very valuable time, not only today, but in preparation for it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got a great stuff. I can see the chat lighting up. So thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. And thanks again for everyone for participating.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
all. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.